This is the moment when we will be changing languages once again. And the next panel session will be in English.
And continue in English and one more language which we will have. So I'm very happy to see our next panel discussion panelists. And I'm very happy to continue with next panel discussion, and the title is Overview of Partner Countries, Examples and Good Practices and Their Impact. And this is what we are asking panelists to focus on impact especially. Let me introduce Egita Lasse, the Director of Economic Relations and Development Cooperation Policy Department at Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Latvia, and she will provide a brief introduction to the panel, outlining Latvia's key achievement in development cooperation over the past 25 years. The floor is yours.
Thank you, and good morning to everybody. Labrīt. Yes, as we heard already several times, today we celebrate 25 years of Latvia's commitment and work towards sustainable development in the world. We just heard the perspective and experience and good practice from our Latvian partners. So I will try also to make a bridge to our partnership beyond the borders of Latvia. Because building partnership has always been a core principle for fostering Latvia's development cooperation policy. Minister Braže already outlined the important milestones that have shaped Latvia's development cooperation policy. You heard that in 1999, Latvia provided its first humanitarian and development aid as a donor country. As we moved away from being a recipient of the aid and towards joining the biggest development cooperation actor globally, the European Union, we had to think about a strategic approach to development cooperation. And Latvia's first long-term development cooperation policy planning document was adopted in 2003. That was before we joined the EU and NATO. We recognize that sustainable development of one country is not possible without sustainable development of Europe and of the world. And that's why we share with our partners our expertise, our experience gained through our own transformation and the innovations that have flourished in this new environment. This transition experience is still fresh in our memory. And Latvia's development cooperation policy contributes to implementing the 2030 agenda for sustainable development in our priority countries. So geographically, over the years, our priority regions have expanded from the EU Eastern Partnership, Eastern Neighborhood to Central Asia and to Africa. And geographically, we have expanded, and also our financing has expanded. As Minister already mentioned, in 2022, Latvia's government provided a total of 0.36% of its gross national income in official development assistance. And as one of the panelists already mentioned in the previous panel, in 2022, Latvia's Development Cooperation Agency was set up to build further partnerships to advance sustainable development efforts. We highlight the significance of the partnerships in all stages of development cooperation, both within the framework of cooperation here in Latvia and also in relation with our partner countries. And we pay particular attention to the partnership and coordination with other donor countries to further ensure the effectiveness of the support. We emphasize the role of various stakeholders: public administration, local governments, civil society, academic institutions, private sector and experts. And I'm very glad to see that together with me here now, there are representatives from public administration, from local governments, and also from civil society from Moldova, Ukraine, and Uzbekistan. And looking back to the first years of Latvia's development cooperation, we must look at Moldova, because in 2005, 10 out of 11 projects, which were the first projects funded by the foreign ministry's budget lines specifically designed for development cooperation, were implemented in Moldova. This is also the time when Latvia's state border guard began partnership with Moldova border police, and this partnership now lasts over 2 decades. In a way, Moldova is a partner country where our Latvian partners gained their first development cooperation experience and learned to make these partnerships. And now we witness the partnerships that are forged outside the typical area of Latvia's development cooperation, namely urgent reconstruction of Ukraine, with the focus of Chernihiv Oblast, and since 2022. And we believe that focus on one region allows us for close communication with our Ukrainian colleagues to ensure response to Ukraine's urgent needs. And that reconstruction is done in a comprehensive manner, matched with bilateral development cooperation projects that support Ukraine's EU integration and reform processes. And around half of the foreign ministry's funded projects this year are implemented in Ukraine. Our strength is to be able to adapt to the actual needs of our partner countries. And this is also the case in Uzbekistan, where we are working together to implement different policies on the ground. I'll just name few. We have supported the establishment of women's advisory groups and contributed to the new legislation on gender-based violence. We are working on strategic planning and civil service guidelines through our development cooperation agencies, first international project also mentioned shortly before. And I would conclude by saying, first, thank you very much our partners, both here in Latvia and also in partner countries, for working closely together towards sustainable development. Next year, Latvia's development cooperation's logo, Change Upwards, will be available for implementers to use in their communication. And we hope that it will raise the awareness of important mutual work that we all do here. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Agita, for being short and very precise in definitions of our achievement. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is from Moldova, Eugen Levko. I hope that I pronounce it right. He's head of the International Cooperation Department, General Inspectorate of Border Police, and representing Ministry of Internal Affairs of Moldova. The floor is yours.
Thank you, dear colleagues. Thank you, first of all, for inviting us here on celebrating this remarkable date in the development assistance programs of Latvia. And first of all, I'd like to apologize to our interpreters, because usually I'm a very fast talker. So if I talk too fast, you have my permission to throw something at me so I can slow a little bit down. For those that are in the front rows, if something hits you from behind, these are the interpreters, so send the message next. I'd like to mention that the Moldovans' pathway towards European integration started more than 30 years ago, in 1994, when we signed the agreement on partnership and cooperation with the European Union. But truly, this process picked up pace in 2005 when we signed the action plan between the European Union and the Republic of Moldova. One of the priorities of this action plan was the fact that we had to build, or we were striving to build, a comprehensive state border management system. So as the saying goes, smart people are learning from their own mistakes and wise people from the experience of others. This is why we were looking to a partner within the European Union that could share their experience in implementing, that had fresh experience in implementing the EU standards when it comes to border management, and their system was close in philosophy to our own. Here's where the tale of the cooperation between the State Border Guard Service of Republic of Moldova, currently the Border Police, started with our State Border Guard, with the partners from the State Border Guard of Latvia. In 2005, we signed the agreement on the cooperation between our agencies, and this year we have marked more than 19 years of cooperation in the field of border management. Our cooperation could be divided basically in two components. So you have the sharing or experience exchange and sharing of know-how as well as technical assistance. And here I would like to highlight that there are a number of areas in which we have benefited from the experience of our Latvian counterparts. And we're here talking about border surveillance, border checks, documents, expertise, canine training, basic and continuous training, as well as fight of cross-border crime. Both senior management staff and tactical level experts have participated in numerous events and study visits that allowed us to see in practice, to touch, if I may say so, the European approach towards border management. The knowledge that was shared by our Latvian colleagues have laid a foundation for developing both existing capabilities as well as starting new areas of activity. One example that can be brought is documents expertise. When Border Police has received this competence, first partners that we asked assistance from were our colleagues from Latvia, and they have helped us to establish a documents expertise field in Border Police that was from the grounds up built on the European principles, and we didn't have to adjust it along the way. It was already working as it was supposed from the very beginning. Although there are many areas that we cooperate in, I would like to highlight two, especially two ones, and here is border surveillance and canine training. When we talk about border surveillance, Latvia helped us to adapt our tactics and border surveillance techniques, especially when we're talking about deployment of new surveillance systems at the border to our border, as well as to strengthen our surveillance of the blue border. In 2006, we have received a donation of 2 boats that were essential for securing a large basin of water at the Moldova-Romanian border. And these boats are still functional to this day, although they have a very long history. They first served with the Finnish Coast Guard and then with the Latvian Border Guard and now with the Moldovan Border Police, but they're still live and kicking. We are now, the time has come to modernize our fleet when we're talking about this basin, and once again our colleagues from Latvia were generous enough to provide us with 2 boats from their fleet in order to cover this component. And just last month, if I'm not wrong, colleagues from Moldovan Border Police have finished the training on these boats that are then to be delivered to the Republic of Moldova. Also, now we're in a phase of implementing a new concept of border surveillance, and here I'd like to mention that a big part was also inspired from the experience of our Latvian counterparts, especially in the context of their experience in managing crisis situations, given the attempts or the crisis that is orchestrated at the Latvian-Belarus border when we're talking about illegal migration. But by far the biggest influence when I'm talking about border guards' influence on the Republic of Moldovan processes is the canine training. And here I would like to emphasize that basically we have copied the Latvian model of training as well as the standard operational procedures when I'm talking about using canine units for the purposes of border surveillance and border checks as well. Here we have received, besides the training, also we have received more than a dozen of puppies and dogs, service dogs, as well as equipment like vehicles and training equipment. And one element that I would like to highlight in this aspect is the fact that this is a very good practice when besides the trainings that you receive, you also obtain the equipment that is necessary to train, because otherwise you have officers that received well training in good facilities, but they cannot replicate this system at home. So this element is also very important. And in conclusion, I'd like to say that a friend in need is a friend indeed, and we felt this on our skin in 2022. When the crisis started, we found out that we do not have the necessary capabilities to manage crisis situations, and we needed specialized units for that. And when we called our Latvian counterparts and asked for assistance, the question was only how many and how fast do you need this to be done? And this is a true testament of what I would say, it's not partnership, I would call it more friendship. So for this, we would like to thank you very much and to express our high appreciation. Thank you.
Thank you, Eugen. I think that this statement is very brilliant. Also for our next speaker, I would like to present Jana Shachuk, Deputy Head, Chernigov Regional State Administration from Ukraine. Please, floor is yours.
Hello, thank you. And I'm very glad to be here today. My next speech will be in Ukrainian, so Victoria, help me. Латвія – наш справжній друг, і сьогодні я хотіла би подякувати і поділитися досвідом співпраці із нашим другом.
Latvija mūsu īstais draugs.
Latvia is a real friend of us, and today I would like to share my experience as to how we are cooperating with our friend.
Праця почалася в 2021 році, коли був проведений форум Україна – країни Балтії, який відвідав щойно призначений посол Ігор Склява, де була започаткована економічна співпраця.
I'd like to point out that our cooperation started in 2001 after the forum Ukraine and the Baltic states, and the forum was the Ambassador Ivar Sklyava came to this forum, and this is how our friendship started.
На жаль, нам довелося пристосовуватися до інших умов і долати інші виклики.
Unfortunately, 2022 changed all our plans, and now we have to adapt to the current situation.
Цих показників є показник вбитими і пораненими.
Unfortunately, on the slide you can see the number of people who have lost their lives or have been injured. A lot of civil infrastructure has been destroyed. Many residential buildings have been destroyed.
Медицини, освіти, інфраструктурні об'єкти.
We have also lost many objects of civil infrastructure, educational and medical care institutions, hospitals and social institutions. Together with our partners, we are trying to tackle these challenges. However, the threat has not diminished because we have a large front line with the aggressor. Our aggressor is shooting every day at our borders. Unfortunately, every day we are losing people, civil objects and houses. But we are not giving up, and thanks to such partners as Latvia, we understand that we are not alone. I'd like to stress the very special cooperation that we have. Because there is a lot of support that is coming from Latvia, and I cannot mention an area where we wouldn't receive help from Latvia. especially with regard to children from foster homes receive presents, Christmas presents. Our partners from Latvia have not forgotten such children, and the children in our foster care have received such presents. In 2022, in April, 1/3 of our region has stayed intact, but the rest has been destroyed. The invader had just left our region, and the first one to come to the Chernihiv region was the mayor of Ogre. Mr. Ulmanis comes to our region once in every 3 months. He also meets our soldiers in the front line. This is the mayor from a Latvian town, Ogre. He's providing support and donating means of transportation and other kind of support. This is the village of Yahidne, a horrible place right now because people have gone through large tragedies there. In the slide you can see a school which was the shelter for many people more than 30 days. 300 people took shelter underneath this school in 200 square meters. Children, senior citizens, adults, sick people, healthy people, and also dead people. Once the aggressor left this village was like a scar for us. And Latvia has provided support as they got involved in restoration of houses in the village of Yahidne. We are grateful for any kind of support, but all other people have were ready to change the windows, but nobody was ready to restore whole buildings. But Latvia did this, and then these houses have been finished already, and we are very grateful for that. Latvia has also taken care of the provision of modular buildings so that people who have lost their homes could get temporary shelter. And we have also received large support for the restoration of educational institutions. We have received furniture, help for the reconstruction and shelters and diesel generations, and that's all thanks to the Latvians who supported us. This year we are also working on the construction of heating infrastructure. It is very important to restore healthcare institutions and social institutions. In this area, our Latvian partners are also providing a lot of support. And we have now nearly finished the restoration works in the children's hospital in Chernihiv. We received also a lot of support in terms of equipment, very modern medical equipment for the hospital. We also want to build new social institutions, so social services institution. We believe that we have to invest in people so that the people can restore everything else. So we first have to restore the people, and then they can restore everything else. We need to renew this human resources, to restore the human resources, and agency Marta from Latvia is helping us a lot, because we want not only to stay on the map, we want to restore our humanity and human nature.
Thank you. Now we have to move on, and we will. Now I'm very happy to give floor to Farzona Hashimova, she is the National Gender Equality Coordinator from Uzbekistan. Please, floor is yours.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very thankful that I was invited to participate in such important event. Yeah. As you know, Uzbekistan and Latvia has a long cooperation and partnership, and I would like to talk about now on cooperation with civil society organizations in our country. I am representing ACTET in Uzbekistan, and ACTET is this international NGO who has also mandate in Uzbekistan, in Central Asia. We have 3 countries, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and Kyrgyzstan. We have headquarters in France, yeah, and we are one of the 10 big international NGOs in the world. But in Central Asia and in Uzbekistan, we are working since 1999 and have a long also contributions to development of civil society organizations, of state body capacity building, yeah, cooperation with different stakeholders in the country in the development projects. So for cooperation with Latvian NGOs, and especially with Marta, which began since 2009, yeah. It was the first big project with implementing partner of NGOs. This is our advanced maybe NGO in gender equality, Civic Initiative Support Center. And you know, this was the first project which supported promotion of gender equality and women's rights and women economic empowerment of women in our country. But last 6-7 years, you know, in Uzbekistan we have a lot of different, you know, amendments and laws which was adopted by the government and country. So now we are the first who are in Central Asia criminalized the law against violence against women. We are now working on the legislation regarding the violence against children. Also, we are working on sphere of prevention violence also against people with disabilities, including women with disabilities. So all these directions, you know, was supported by Latvian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, yeah. Since 2020 we have a, oh sorry, I forgot about this. Just talking and talking, how it was, yeah, this one. Yeah, this is about our ACTET. And as I said, Marta have provided support for NGO sector in our country. And this support was goes through different programs, projects which are supported by EU and Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And I wanted to talk about the project which was supported by Ministry of Foreign Affairs, implemented by UNDP in our country in collaboration and partnership with Ministry of Justice, with support of Marta and our NGO Civic Initiative Support Center. They, it was also mentioned before, they established 7 women's advisory groups. Which means we created special public services in all regions of Uzbekistan, and these advisory groups provide support to women, to people with disabilities, to elder people who are not, knowing how to use digital, services, and support them. And also through this women advisory group, women received consultation, legal consultation, social support, psychological support, and so on. As I said, Uzbekistan now one of the first country in the Central Asia and six country in the world who are criminalized, gender-based violence. So in this case, we have very good opportunity, and ACTED has a big regional program in 3 countries which are preventing gender-based violence and promoting and increased, professionalism of civil society organizations in our country to provide professional services. Yeah, and in this case we are working together with Marta and increase capacity and conducting trainings for state bodies on identification and the victims of violence, how to provide support them, how to respond, how to use this intersectional response to the cases of violence against women. So I know that since last year, Marta also, with support of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, participated in different discussions with our Senate Commission, and they discuss about to promote and to continue work on issues of GBV prevention, response, and support women, their women economic empowerment. Yes, so. As I said, now Marta signed and just begin to work on another project which also directed to women and girls in situation of gender-based violence, and they will provide methodology and increase capacity of state bodies, in supporting women in risks and women who are survivors of GBV. I would like to say that, all these cooperations since 2009 have increased capacity, not only one NGO, but a lot of different NGOs in our country. And also provide support to increase, capacity of state bodies. Of community level, organizations like Mahalla, we have a very big influence, community level organization Mahalla, and they are very, close to work with women and the crisis situation and vulnerable groups of women. So this cooperation and collaboration and partnership, with Latvia experts and different state experts, as from the previous, panel, you heard about different, projects, programs which already, going on in our country with Latvian support. So for me, as an expert on gender equalities, social issues, and civil society development issues, I can recommend that we should continue, you know. We should continue to work on this collaboration. We should maybe increase this experience changing, yeah? Because as I said, in 2020, we came here and look a lot of different organizations who are working with different vulnerable groups, thanks to Marta. And this was like a very good ideas, you know, to support our shelters in Uzbekistan. And we provide expertise of Marta to our state shelters, which are now in our country have 29 state shelters for support.
Farzona, we are going out of time, so
I'm just finishing. So just continue our collaboration, and thanks for this support, and not only finance support, but technical support, yeah? And I hope that we will continue this collaboration, not only with Marta, but with other stakeholders here. And good luck for all, you know, your activities and achievements, yeah. Thank you very much.
thank you very much. I think that the spirit of friendship in this panel and from all speeches was very strongly announced. I would like to thank you all panelists, and also Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Latvia also will give you some small souvenir and present from this event to remember it. And thank you, panelists. We announcing also coffee break now.